Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to VTV. Before I begin this video, let me have a quick word to my subscribers who are the true heroes of this community and not us, the commentators. Specifically to my subscribers, I've just bought NCAA 13. Today, I just came back actually. Still have the suit and tie on. I'm going to do this video with no mask. I will have a slider set available by Monday. I'm going to work on it the rest of the weekend, and I have two art of storytelling videos that should be finished by Tuesday. And naturally, I'm going to break down NCAA, its positives and negatives. So that's to my subscribers. And now on to the actual subject matter at hand, which is the TheSimStandard. I should have weighed in on this matter long ago. We're going to drink to this one. Allow me to have a little bit of JD. Some of you may not know what that is yet. And allow me to have a quick smoke here, yes? I smoke cigarettes. It's a bad habit. Please don't judge me. We all fight our own demons. So allow me to have a quick smoke. So I'm going to talk directly to grown-up individuals. If I can find my lighter, it seems that everyone who smokes can never find their lighter. All right, here we go. Most of you know that I have been a part of the TheSimStandard, and I am repeating this because this is a new channel and I have new viewers who may not know this, but there is a channel called TheSimStandard who has their own personal agenda, which is attempting to get simulation football gaming for the community, for their subscribers, their supporters, those who have been sticking with them in their personal channels for years, and for those who have recently discovered the channel, the community channel. And if that is something you want to support and you believe that you can get simulation, by all means, the TheSimStandard channel is available. Look them up, and I'm pretty certain that you can find them. Now, when the TheSimStandard came together, there had been a number of individuals who started the channel, myself included, along with a number of others, some of which have departed just like I have. Some of us have departed for our own personal reasons. Some of us left on good terms. Some of us, or I should say, I left on not so good terms. But regardless of that, I'm going to say next, I'm not going to begin by stating 50 times the "I mean no disrespect" or "with all due respect." I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I have the greatest respect for such and such. I'm not going to say that 50 times to try to sugarcoat what I'm going to say here, because the individuals who I'm going to be speaking to should already know by now that I already have respect for them. And I already consider them to be grown-up individuals who know better, or who should be acting as if who knows better. These are individuals who know better. And just like a brother, if you see your own brother doing something or saying something in which he is capable of performing slightly better than what he is, you're going to say something. So if this video is taken as disrespect, so be it. I don't fear any of you. It's a quality that I love so much about Real Rap himself. I don't fear none of you. I don't fear anyone on YouTube. As B5 has said, I have been to the bottom of the Coliseum with all of you and have walked out. Now that may sound a bit arrogant, but arrogance is one of my flaws. So forgive me for that. So what do I have to say to the TheSimStandard? Well, I'll say this. I told you so. In fact, I've told you so almost 2 years ago. Smitty, Lazur Effect, SimF Ball Critic, Gadden, True Sim Gamer, Shakedown, and the rest of you, and the rest. The rest of you, I told you so. And you're wondering, what exactly am I talking about? Well, I've told you that the freedom of speech, the freedom to express your opinions, the freedom to have the right to say how you feel and why you feel that way should be respected and should be available to everyone. Now, that is not to say that Shakedown doesn't agree with that or Azure Effect doesn't agree with that, but some of you are acting as if you don't agree with that. And that has been demonstrated around the time that I had left the TheSimStandard. That type of conception had been circulating on that channel around the time I decided to leave the channel. And I'll prove it to you more precisely. And I'll break it down in only the way that Versuz can. The right and the freedom to say how you feel and why you feel that way should be respected always. And unfortunately, the TheSimStandard as a channel has yet to demonstrate that that can be done. It may be demonstrated on your own personal channels, but the TheSimStandard as a channel, as a collective channel, has yet to prove that it can be done on one community channel. And the truth of that has led to what we see today, what we have seen in the past. The reason I left the TheSimStandard was because I had felt that that conception could not be upheld on the channel. Now, who was right and who was wrong isn't the topic here, because that is the past. But what is relevant is that the idea that it cannot be done on the channel still lingers. And this is how. What do you see happening with the channel? What did you see happen with Ryan Moody? What is the situation happening with Pass Gadden and Apex is Free? What is it that you're seeing happening with all of these situations who are creating knockoff channels, who are creating all of these things, which is going beyond the normal criticism that any channel usually receives? You're receiving a certain type of criticism. You're receiving a certain type of rebuttals, video responses, videos calling out the TheSimStandard. You're receiving a special type that can be traced back to what I had mentioned the root of the problem is. Some of you still have yet to demonstrate that it can be done on the channel. You may believe this individually. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. However, you have yet to demonstrate it. And you've tried to demonstrate it. You've given your best effort by making the attempt to collectively give a review on NCAA Football 13. That was your best effort. That was your best shot. In fact, that probably was your best video. However, that isn't going to get the job done. Almost 2 years ago, pretty much 98.5% of the community, the so-called simulation community, was against EA Sports. For those of you who are still lost, I'll simplify just for you. You could not count how many anti-EA Sports videos had been circulating the entire, again, simulation community. Not just YouTube, but the group that calls themselves the simulation community. Almost every video was anti-EA. Anti-EA this, they will never do this, they'll never do that, so on. Presentation means little to this, their gameplay is little to that, on and on, pretty much on everyone's channel. And believing that EA Sports has hope, just like I believe any company has a sign of hope, has led to people calling me an EA employee, someone who could not see the light, someone who did not see how great Backbreaker was, someone who did not and could not see how great 2K is, how we were all supposed to just sit back not do slider sets, not do anything, how we were supposed to give up hope with EA, how EA was stealing money, the exact word, stealing money from people, how they stole the license, oh, how EA was projected to be almost the devil, if you will, and how we were supposed to, sit back, and how we were supposed to sit back and wait for the triumphant return of 2K Sports. Oh, how their basketball video games was so great. If only EA had not stole the license, where would 2K be? Where would Backbreaker be had that not happened? And anyone who says otherwise is deluded and outcast, as a hypocrite, as someone who just doesn't understand. When I made the video that NCAA will be the most complete video game on next gen, because someone had to see the positives within EA. Many people could not see the light back then. No one could see the light when I said before Backbreaker was released that the limitations within that game was going to prove to be its downfall itself. Oh, how I was a fool. Oh, how that was foolish of me to say. And look at today. Look at how many people are playing Backbreaker today. I had left TheSimStandard because I felt that as a channel together, we could not demonstrate that everyone had the freedom of speech to say what they want, when they want, and how they want it. And to the community, I won't blame this on the commentators, but to the community, some of the community, I was seen as arrogant and, again, an EA fanboy and an EA supporter. And one of the reasons why I put that video up was because I felt that someone needed to show that there was hope for EA still. I won't say that no one was doing it, but I will say that not many people were. It was mostly about 2K and how great 2K was and how great 2K will be if they returned, and how great 2K would be had EA not stole the license, and how great they would be had they still been, their game been in production today. I felt that more people needed to stand up and show support for EA. That's why I made that video in the way that I did. I called it the most complete football video game on next gen, which it was. No other game offered as much, and still today, no franchise, no football franchise offers as much consistently as the NCAA football franchise shows every year. And I felt at the time that more people should have been doing that. And I knew that once I had left, it would force someone else to step into that position, because the amount of 2K supporting videos that was being released on that channel, the community would accept nothing less. The community would force someone into those shoes, which was why there was so much negative comments that you guys were getting on your videos and negative feedback of saying that the Sim standard is the 2K standard. They were getting so much of that they, for a certain time, were consistently putting out defensive videos saying that they were not the 2K standard, and they were not just putting out 2K, positive 2K videos, because the community was demanding more of them. So it was going to force someone else to step in the position that I was in. It was going to force someone else to be the outcast. It was going to force someone else to say the things that needed to be said. Someone else was going to be, for at least a brief moment, the advocate for EA. And wouldn't you know it, that advocate happened and turned out to be none other than Ryan Moody, who, for a brief moment, also decided to leave the TheSimStandard, coincidentally, over the same matter that I decided to leave almost a year prior. I saw what Ryan Moody saw years ago. That's how I know what I'm saying is true. He felt that he couldn't say his opinion, and he also felt that he couldn't say it how he saw fit. Again, I saw this years ago. So briefly, he decided to leave the TheSimStandard until they decided to reconcile. Now, it wasn't exactly the same situation. I was talking about NCAA. He was talking about Madden. But nonetheless, the conception was identical. They were the same conceptions. Now they reconciled nonetheless, and I attempted to reconcile with the TheSimStandard, but it may have turned out to be for the best that they went their direction and I went mine. Now, within this past week or so, we have another situation on our hands. This time, the individual who had retired from making videos on video games, who people call the Godfather. I don't understand why they call him the Godfather. Apex was good at what he did, but he's no Godfather. I think you guys are stretching that a bit too far. And also, I wanted to say, you guys are taking his word as if it's canon law. That also needs to stop. Apex makes great points, as we all do, but his word, nonetheless, is no greater than ours. J Music demonstrates this more than anyone, as an attempt to use Apex to climb his way to the top, so to speak. And if anyone can't see that, then I personally have to question your vision. Again, Apex makes great points. His word is no greater than Joe Schmo's down the street, just like my word is no greater than Joe Schmo's down the street. Everyone has a right to their opinion, and everyone's opinion should be treated equally and respectfully. We need to stop using his word as canon law. Moving on. We now have Apex and Geddon in a rebutting competition, because apparently Apex feels that the TheSimStandard is lowering the standard, because the TheSimStandard is also has now started to see that EA has hope after all, and they started making positive videos showing great things about EA. And when I say I told you so, falls back on this. You are now starting to see yourselves how dogmatic each of you were when it came to 2K football video games. Because now that some of you have stepped into the shoes of supporting EA and supporting a company who has shown that they will make an attempt to producing the best video game that they can, now that you stepped on the right side, where I was, you're starting to see how dogmatic and the arrogance on the left side, which is the 2K side. And you're starting to see what I saw years ago, how hard it is, how complicated they can make a conversation actually be. I told you so. It was never about who was right and who was wrong. It was about respecting each other's opinion and actually having a decent and reasonable debate, which I've tried, famously tried, a long time ago. And I've discovered that you guys, and sometimes myself, because I'm not completely innocent either, we can all sometimes be a little dogmatic, too dogmatic when it comes to these video games. And now you see what a conversation is like when someone will not let go of the 2K dream. Now you see what it's like when someone will not let go of their opinion that All Pro Football 2K8 is the best video game ever. And they will not let that go. You see how impossible a rational discussion is with someone just like that. Again, I've said this to you guys years ago. But because I was the only one, I was seen as the outcast, which I don't mind, because I knew that once I stepped out of the spotlight, someone else inevitably would be pushed by the community onto that right side, defending the other side of the argument. And the community pushed you into that situation. Now you see. And now some of you, I won't say all of you, some of you are getting a taste of your own medicine. I told you so.